Good morning, members of the Portfolio Committee on Human Settlements. May I introduce myself? I'm Llewellyn Brown. I'm Standing Committee Secretary for this morning's session. I'm also the Secretary for Basic Education. That is why you see Basic Education, but I am the Secretary for Basic Education, standing in for Koliswa. Unless I've missed it, members, we are still waiting for chairperson to join the platform. I do have some members present as we speak. Thank you. Good morning, Chairperson, CRB. It's Llewellyn Brown. I'm the standing secretary for our colleague this morning. I see that you have joined the platform. I will hand over to you, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And good morning to everybody. Can you just give me just a minute?
Ibu, yimina ongezwa noma nhlobo kwenzakalani?
Good morning once more. Thanks very much. And welcome, honorable members, and everybody who's on the platform. Of course, we'll still have an opportunity to introduce ourselves. My name is Nok Siabi. Secretary, are we ready to start?
Thank you, Chairperson. Yes, it's Llewellyn Brown. I'm the Secretary for Basic Education and I'm standing in. We are ready to start. We do have members. If you would like, I can do the roll call.
Please.
Thank you, Chairperson. I have yourself, Honorable Siabi. I have Honorable Ditebe, Honorable Kecha Kilwe. I have Honorable Poole, Honorable Gamede, Honorable Buthelezi on the platform. Unless I'm missing anybody, Chairperson, if I could maybe just get assistance, but these are the members present on the platform. Thank you.
Thanks very much. I think others will be joining as we move on. Can we have a...
Morning, Chair, I am in. Betty ke rakile.
Yes. Thanks very much. Can we welcome? I see the DG is also in. But we'll introduce each other as we move on. You are welcome. Can we have the agenda flighted, Secretary? There is the agenda, honorable members. Opening and welcome. Apologies. Adoption of the agenda. Opening remarks. Progress. Made in Ga-Rankuwa, Mabopane. We'll get a report, progress report from the Department of Human Settlement. We'll then get a report from Northwest Provincial Department. Get a report from Gauteng Provincial Department, get a report from Northwest Housing Corporation, and we'll get an input from petitioners. Then we'll get an opportunity for members to deliberate. And then later we'll deal with the Department of Human Settlements, Western Cape. We get the petitioners' inputs, and then members deliberate, and then we move on to consider minutes and close. Can I check whether we are fine? Can I get a mover for the adoption? It's a long agenda, but we'll try to push it so that by 13 hours we are done. Can I get a motion? Honorable Gamede.
I do.
Honorable Gamede.
Thanks, Chair. No, Chairperson, I wish to move the agenda, but first of all, is it possible, because I see the meeting is recorded, is it possible to change the title of our meeting, because we're on human settlement? I think in as much as the secretary from the Portfolio Committee of the Basic Education has stepped in, but I think it is possible to change the title there.
I don't see what, can you, oh, the agenda is gone. Can we look at the agenda again, Secretary? Oh, it says, let's look at the agenda. Take it down a bit. Portfolio Committee on Human Settlement.
Chair?
No, I see that one. That one is correct on the agenda. But I mean, when you go to the Portfolio Committee where like, for instance, the Zoom that we are in, the visual meeting that we are attending, it's under human settlement.
Yes.
I mean, it's under basic education, not human settlement.
Chairperson?
Yes.
Chair, it's happy here. I don't know, it might be the Parliament side, the AI side of record. But I agree with Honorable Gamede that must be correctly titled, so that people outside who are actually viewing this should know that this is a meeting of human settlements, but also to take this opportunity to thank him for the adoption of the agenda. And lastly, Chair, because of the sitting at 2 today instead of 3, we try to limit this to 1 o'clock as far as possible, because members will be traveling, will be in transit to Parliament, some of them at that time at 1 o'clock to attend the 2 o'clock sitting. Thank you.
Okay. With that input, Honorable Gamede moving, Honorable Ditebe seconding. Honorable Dlamini.
No, Chair, my hand was up to second the moving for the adoption of the agenda. Thank you.
Thanks very much for the support. Thanks very much. Can we put the agenda? Yes, can we move it up? Are there apologies, Secretary?
Thank you, Chairperson. I've tried to change the naming of the platform to Human Settlements. I hope I've achieved that. Chairperson, for apologies, I've received apologies from both Minister and Deputy Minister who won't be able to join us this morning. I've also got apologies from the MEC for Gauteng, Honorable Motara, and also the city manager in Tshwane, who has also submitted an apology. Chairperson, those were the apologies received. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks very much. I think honorable members are accepting the apologies so that we continue. Honorable Gamede, is that an old hand? Oh, okay, thanks.
It was an old one. Okay, thanks.
No, thanks. Thanks very much, Honorable. I think we are fine. There's no... I see Khomotso Matlobo's hand.
Good morning, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Members. Khomotso Matlobo, HOD, Human Settlements in the Northwest. MEC for Human Settlements, Hawahi Molapisi, has also tendered an apology. His office was sending a written apology. I'm not sure whether it hasn't reached the office, but he is in EXCO today and was not able to join the meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that. I think we have a meeting, we have an arranged meeting with all MECs and HODs around the 21st, 22nd of November. We'll still take matters forward with them. Thanks very much, Mema Tlobo. If you can lower your hand, if you are done. Thanks very much. We're done with item 1, item 2, and item 3. On item 4, because of time, I'm not going to say a lot, except to welcome all stakeholders who are in the meeting. And like other members have said, just to appeal that we be time conscious. The agenda is highly loaded, and we still have another sitting in the afternoon, and members must still travel to that sitting. We're here because as Parliament elected by the people, it is also our responsibility to listen to people, because people have trust, hope in their leaders they've elected and sent to Parliament. When there are issues they raise with Parliament, Parliament must listen, because we are a listening Parliament. That is why this meeting today, to listen to the petitions and get a report as to how far are we with regard to progress. Let me not say much and move to item 5, progress made in Ga-Rankuwa Mabopane petition. We'll immediately listen to the Department of Human Settlements. I saw the DG. We then, after that, listen to Northwest Provincial Department. The HOD is here. We'll then listen to Gauteng Provincial Department. That we received the apology from the MEC, but in that apology, she indicated that she will send the HOD. We hope the HOD is here She will then address us. And then we get an address from Northwest Housing Corporation and hear from the petitioners. If we can be time conscious, we don't need a lot. We just need to go straight to the progress so that we have the background of everything so that we are able to get what is happening. Thanks very much, honorable members and stakeholders. As you present, you will then introduce yourself and introduce the delegation you are with so that we save time. I won't say let's introduce ourselves first, but as you present, introduce yourself and introduce the delegation you are with. Thanks very much. Let's listen to the progress report from the department. DG?
Chairperson, good morning and good morning to the honorable members. Allow me this morning to indicate that we are pleased to appear before the committee to report on progress that has been made on the Mawiga matter. And this matter, just as a brief background, comes from a bit far back, and it comes from the pre-1994 stock of houses that was there under the Tshwane largely administration, which handed over some of the houses to the new government, and the new government had in this regard its opportunity to solve the matter and make sure that people who are resident in these houses are ultimately given title deeds and that they have ownership and enjoy tenure, security of tenure. However, as we may know, things have not necessarily gone that way because of various complications relative to this. And also the fact that in the transferring gazette of houses from different spheres of government, we may recall very, very well that part of the problem has been that some of the properties in terms of their location vis-a-vis the work that was done by the demarcation board, with the demarcation board essentially allowing for the division of boundaries, and some of these properties that were Tshwane fell under the Free State and Gauteng, as well as the new Northwest boundaries. And to that extent, this has been the challenge we have been contending and dealing with relative to the continued ownership of the properties by the state and via the custodianship of the Northwest Housing Corporation. So we have been at it dealing with the complexities, and I think the two provincial governments, Northwest and Gauteng, can report on the stock on their side, particularly now that in terms of the boundaries, the Mabopane, Ga-Rankuwa, as well as Winterveld now fall under Gauteng. And the properties, however, remain on the books of the Northwest Provincial Government by perpetual succession in lieu on the books of the Northwest Housing Corporation. So I would, without much ado, there were steps that we national needed to undertake and that we have been undertaking. My colleagues, Ngaka Dumalisile, the DDG responsible for affordable housing, rental housing, as well as social housing, and Ms. Luen will make the presentation half of national. And then thereafter, Chair, with your indulgence, our colleagues in the two provinces can then come in, first Northwest and then Gauteng, to indicate what practical steps have been taken this far to resolve the matter and to bring it to finality. I must also hasten to indicate to the Chair and members that at our last engagement with the outgone committee that preceded this one in the 6th Parliament, what was essential in terms of resolving this matter has been twofold. First and foremost, the committee had received a report to the extent of the challenges that has happened, and because of lapse of time, some of the matters dragged out, and there have been intervening policy changes in between, and there has been a continued dispute with the people. Secondly, in provinces, the matter as was dealt with by the housing tribunals, and where it has left us to be in this regard. So I'll without much indulgence request that Ms. Luen on our part present on behalf of National Department, and then invite the two provinces to follow suit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DG. Luen?
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members. The department had prepared a slide presentation. I'm not sure, in the interest of time, if we could immediately go to page 6 of that presentation. If Secretariat can share, or should I share, Chair?
Yeah, you can share. They can give you hosting rights, but we need to see your face. Just for us to relate the voice to the face. You can close it later. Okay.
Good morning, Chair.
Good morning. Thanks very much. Continue.
Thanks, Chair. Is it visible?
Yeah, it is visible. You can just put it on a slideshow.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much.
I'm starting straight at slide 6 of the presentation, Chair. The DG has covered us adequately in terms of the history. With regards to Mr. Peng, Chair, the last status that we spoke to the committee about was in March, after agreement has been reached on the size of the house. Now, Chair, where we are currently, the city of Tshwane had since found out that the stands allocated to Mr. Peng was owned as public open space, and therefore a transfer could not be effected. They then wrote to the corporation to replace or to find alternative stands and allocate to Mr. Peng. The corporation then reported that they, in October, have conducted physical verification to check which stands are available. They've identified it. They're currently doing deed search, and they're checking the database to ascertain the status of those stands, and they foresee that they can conclude this exercise by the 24th, by next month, November 2024. With regards to Ms. Ledingwane, Chair, the city has transferred 2 land portions, and the title deeds are with the beneficiary. There was an agreement at the last discussion that Gauteng would provide the subsidy equal to that of the MOVEX spec for 50 square meter top structure. But the city hasn't received any response from Gauteng on that one. Northwest Housing Corporation confirms then that the property transfer has been concluded. With regards to Mr. Gasio, Chair, there was also an agreement with regards to the 50 square MOVEX spec house. In the last discussion, the corporation, the Northwest Department of Human Settlements, who would then construct the top structure for Mr. Gasio, had indicated that they would give new timelines in terms of the construction of the house. But we have not received an update on Mr. Gasio's house construction phase from the province today. Chairperson, Mr. Meres one is slightly more complicated. The department is also involved in another project in the Mawiga area, which basically encompasses beneficiary verification and registration of title deeds. The portion of land where Mr. Mere would like to obtain the stand from is located in this broader project area of the department. The current piece of land identified for Mr. Mere is basically 4 farm portions of which are not proclaimed and formalized with the result until the township establishment processes are completed. Individual title cannot be issued. So Tshwane has started with portion 1 of Ouderkraal. They've transferred to the Gauteng Provincial Department, and portion 3, they are waiting some paperwork in respect of clearance certificates to Gauteng, and they are busy following up on that matter. Now, with regards to the other portions of land, there's a particular portion of land that is owned by the Northwest Housing Corporation. In order for the department, because the national department has now undertaken a township establishment exercise on 8 townships in the broader Mawiga area, that's Mabopane, Venterta, Ga-Rankuwa area. The department requires permission, a power of attorney from the registered landowner to proceed and conclude on those township establishments. And there are quite a number of approximately 1,600 title deeds that are locked into those parcels of land. Now, the Northwest Housing Corporation happens to be the owner of the portion where the department wants to process the other title deeds and also to issue a stand to Mr. Mere. There is a problem there, Chair, in that the corporation requests compensation, and those have not been resolved. Compensation for the land, and as such will not issue that power of attorney. So that JR portion is where we are going to have a problem, in that compensation is required by the corporation, and it affects not only Mr. Mere, but also quite a number of other landowners in the area. So those are the issues that we are still busy resolving, but for all of the other land parcels where we are proceeding with the appointment of a service provider to finalize the township proclamations in that regard. Chairperson, as the committee is aware, ex-gratia payments were made to the petitioners and they were accepted. There are no further actions required on that one. The last committee meeting had requested that a case be opened against the City of Tshwane officials for the illegal sales of the petitioner's properties. We haven't received a formal update from the city. The city, however, did report in a preparatory meeting that they have concluded investigation reports and made findings, but it's now very difficult for them to implement those findings as those employees have left the employee of the city. Therefore, they cannot act on those findings. Chairperson, the department has also facilitated emotional support for the petitioners through the Department of Social Development, and those services have been taken up by the petitioners. Chair, just as in terms of the recommendations, we're asking that the committee notes the department's progress report on the petitioners. There is a bit of a stalemate between the city and some of the petitioners, pending legal action and on the part of the city in terms of taking the public protector's report and review, as well as a stalemate between the city and the corporation in terms of mutual debt owed to each other and the pending court case to recover debt, and that is what causes all government initiatives in the Mawiga area to stall. And then obviously, Chair, at the last discussion, not all of the stakeholders were invited to the meeting, so we just reaffirmed the previous request that we've made to the committee to ensure that all of the stakeholders be attending all of the future meetings of the committee in this regard, so that they can individually and collectively assist us to account for the actions and interventions that they are responsible for. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Luan. Northwest, HOD.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not sure whether the Secretariat will assist in putting up the slides or whether we should do it from our slides.
Secretary, can you give the HOD hosting rights?
Thank you, Chairperson. We have given them hosting rights. They are able to share. Thank
Okay, let's share from our side.
Please show your face. Oh, thank you. Show your face. Thank you. You can switch it. Yeah.
Okay, Chairperson, yes, showing my face.
Yeah, thanks. You can switch it off if it affects your connectivity.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chairperson and honorable members, for the opportunity given to the Northwest Department of Human Settlement to assist in the case around Mr. Khaswe and Khaswe. We will be sharing progress since the last meeting that we held with the previous committee. Let's move on to the next slide, please. What happened following the last meeting, the Northwest Housing Corporation offered a piece of land, ERF number 757, Mokwasa Unit 2 in Moses Kotane local municipality, and the ERFs measures 1,441 square meters. Mr. Khaswe has recently accepted the because the best and the largest unit we can give would be a military vet house, which is 50 square meters. Mr. Khaswe has recently accepted the 50 square meter house specification and the house plan provided by the Northwest Department of Human Settlement or in March 2024. What we have also done, if we can scroll to the other side, I'm disturbed by the list of, if we can scroll to the other side, let me continue with the status and then I'll come to the actions. Continuing with the status, Chairperson, the Northwest Housing Corporation released the land and the municipality has been giving challenges not allowing the department to continue with the development. The meeting was held recently it was on the 28th of October, where the officials from the municipality then conceded that that portion of land, the contestation has been on that portion of land, that ERF, the municipality was contesting that it belonged to them. Therefore, Northwest Housing Corporation could not give it to the department to develop a house for Mr. Khaswe. But on the 28th of October, Chairperson, I'm happy to report that the municipality then, the officials from the municipality considered that that portion of land actually belongs to the Northwest Housing Corporation, thus finally giving permission for the contractor to submit designs for consideration. The contractor has long been appointed and has interacted with Mr. Khaswe, or Mr. Khaswe was introduced to the contractor for him to be able to build. Moving on, Mr. Khaswe has also accepted. Okay, let's move. Is this the last one? Let's move on to the actions taken. Following the meeting on the 28th, Chairperson, the municipality then indicated that we can go ahead and I've lost the presentation. Okay, the municipality said the department and the contractor can go ahead and submit the designs. As I indicated, we have already taken the following actions. One, the contractor has been appointed, and the contractor has been introduced to the beneficiary, Mr. Khaswe, and the contractor was also introduced to the municipality. So the designs for the projects have been finalized and will be submitted to the municipality, Moses Kotane Municipality, by the 1st of November 2024, seeing that we only got permission on the 28th. And the municipality has given 6 weeks to provide feedback on the designs. We as a department will be monitoring progress during this period to ensure timely follow-up, and the construction will commence in January 2025. Once all necessary approvals by all institutions have been given, including the NHBRC and enrollment and registration of the housing unit that will be built. That's progress in terms of how far we are as the department, Chairman. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, HOD. I take honorable members are noting down. We'll then engage with all the presentations at the end. Gauteng. Gauteng. DG. Is Gauteng in?
Yes, I'm trying. I have put on the video. It's like it's not showing.
No,
Can
we
see
can
me?
see you. We can see you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay, Mr. Mlokomme.
yeah,
All
no,
right.
thank Chair. Yeah, we working closely with Luen. Luen is the one that was presenting from the Department of Human Settlements, and together with the city of Tshwane. So I've picked up what Luen was presenting is the same that with the what we then said to the city is through the MMC to request the special dispensation from the MEC to override the approval. So that's if you look at what Luen has concluded towards the end of the slide, the last word, it says, from now on, the steering committee should include the key stakeholders, which is us, Gauteng, Department of Human Settlement, and the Northwest Corporation. So that's how far I could go at the moment. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, but you didn't introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is, it is that Daniel there. My native name from Limpopo is Mwako.
And what's your position?
My position in the department is Deputy Director. So I'm now representing the HOD in this meeting.
Deputy Director General. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Thanks. Thanks very much. Northwest Housing Corporation.
Good morning, Chairperson and the members of the Portfolio Committee. My name is Soli Machaba. I'm the company secretary for the Housing Corporation. The CEO has been struggling to join this meeting, but I have been listening to the presentations, and I would like to align myself with what was being said. So there is nothing to add from the corporation side.
Okay. HOD Northwest, can I just find this from you? HOD, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Chairperson.
The company secretaries should be part of the board, ne?
Yes, sir.
Can he represent the CEO?
It depends on who the CEO is delegating. Maybe other senior managers in the department were not available. He's a liaison between the board and the institution.
DG? DG? Is the DG still there? Yes, DG, I see your hand.
Yes, Chair, I'm here. Chair, I just wanted to indicate that there is a representation from Tshwane Municipality in which both all the three, Winterfeld, Mabopane and Ga-Rankuwa, fall within the boundaries of Tshwane, and Tshwane too has been at it engaged in trying to resolve the land matters related to the necessary approvals related to the matter. If the chair will indulge them in giving the presentation, because I believe their part will elucidate more what has been presented by the last. Thank you.
Okay. But before I give to Tshwane, Honorable Ditewe.
Chairperson, thank you very much to the DG, to the Northwest Housing Corporation, Gauteng, and the Northwest City of Tshwane, if they are here, colleagues. You asked a question, Chairperson, which I think speaks to what company law provides for. And there is the company secretary of the Northwest Housing Corporation. The CE has delegated him to represent the entity in this meeting. And the DG will correct me if I am wrong. My understanding is that executive and non-executive directors, etc., will necessarily have fiduciary responsibilities, but then the chief executive, who ought to have been here and has since delegated the secretary, is not part of the board, and therefore my understanding is that if the company secretary represents him, it does not constitute a clash. It may be that my recollection of that part of company law is a bit old, and maybe the DG might want to help us jog our memories so that your consternation about whether the company secretary status here is legal or not should be addressed. Because I think when you pointed to the DG to speak, he spoke instead on the attendance of Tshwane, and perhaps we should ask him to intervene and address us on that issue. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, DG. Doctor?
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity to comment on this matter. Chairperson, I will necessarily comment on the strength that I am a graduate of law, but I must give a disclaimer in advance that, as you are aware and know, I do not, I'm not a legal advisor for the department or anybody, but I can help the committee with this matter. My clear understanding is that the company secretary is an employee of a department, in this case of the housing corporation, and all employees are accountable to the CEO, and all employees, depending even on their levels, are direct reports to the CEO. In this case, the company secretary of the Northwest Housing Corporation is a direct report of the CEO, and equally, he does duties that makes him a liaison person between the administration and the board. And his job is to coordinate functions of the board on behalf of the administration. This is done so primarily because, and I think I must clarify this matter, the company secretary, in the context we are talking about of the Northwest Housing Corporation, is not necessarily a member of the board. If you look at their constitutive act, he is not listed as a member of the board. But company law requires that each board should have a serving company secretary who serves as a secretariat. And they have executive responsibilities in this regard relative to fiduciary duties that other board members have. In our context, as the state know, it is the directly appointed members, in this case by the NEC, in conjunction with the Premier of the province, that those would be the ones holding such fiduciary. In his case, in this regard, and knowing the relationship, I think it's quite a gray area whether or not can he be. But if he's taken in the context that he is part of the management committee of the corporation, then indeed the CEO, dependent on what issues are being raised and who is the relevant officer, may delegate functions to those to perform, inclusive of him as a member of the executive committee. Is it desirable? Perhaps not, but is it legally plausible? Yes, it is. I think there would be no contradiction legal-wise to that reality. So that's what I can proffer as an opinion, with no benefit of having seen what the actual board policies are saying, but simply looking at the context of the law.
Okay, thanks very much. Let us not belabor it. I think we will take it forward in another platform. Mr. Machaba, this does not mean anything. We just wanted clarity, because when we follow up, once we take resolutions, when we follow up, we want to make sure that things are in order. But for now, still a gray area. Let's continue. I think we'll finalize it. We'll have a better understanding in another platform. The DG has indicated that Tshwane is represented here. City of Tshwane. Can we have somebody presenting?
Good morning to you, Honorable Chairperson. I'm trying to switch on my camera so you can place the voice to the face. I don't think I'm winning. I'll keep trying, Chair, as I make my presentation, if it's okay with you.
Okay, continue.
Thank you. My name is Londo Memela. I am the head of human settlements at the city of Tshwane. Chairperson, good morning to you and the honorable members of the committee, DG and colleagues. We are also joined on the platform together with the MMC of Human Settlements, Alderman Aaron Maluleke. He's just stepped out now for a few minutes, but he will rejoin. Chairperson, we do not have a separate presentation because we made our input into the presentation that Luen made. I would, however, like to augment one or two areas. As the DG indicated in his opening remarks, Chair, the properties that we are trying to resolve, as much as they are within the ownership of fall within Tshwane following the redemarcation, the administrative power still rests with the Northwest Housing Corporation. We are therefore involved in 3 of the 4 matters. The HOD for Northwest has already given progress on the 4th matter. The petitioner in that case opted to have his family compensated in an area within the Northwest province. So we are involved in the 3 as they fall within the city of Tshwane. On the Sipeng matter, Chair, the Luen has made a presentation. The stands, as she indicated, the stands that were allocated need to be replaced, and the Northwest Housing Corporation is busy with that process. There has been an agreed deadline of 30th of November for them to revert to the steering committee so that we can then move to the next step. The next step being the one that we're at with regards to the Lidingwane matter. The 2 stands that the family had agreed to have eventually been transferred to her name with the assistance of the Gauteng province in terms of the conveyancing processes that we needed to undertake. As recent as last week, Chair, we went to deliver the title deeds to Mrs. Lidingwane of the 2 properties. The next step would then be the construction of the top structure. Chair, we would know that the provision of housing, the top structures, is a concurrent competence of national and provincial government. In that regard, we have made submissions before to Gauteng to request for a special dispensation for the families to be allocated a housing subsidy at the level of the military veteran subsidy quantum so that the top structures can be constructed. I am referring to both Lidingwane and Sipeng. We are waiting for that feedback as we do not have the approval powers. In terms of the code, you must not have owned a property before you can qualify for housing subsidy. But because there were properties that were registered on their names before the fraudulent incidents that happened, there would need to be a special approval for them to be allocated a subsidy so that they can be constructed with the houses that they've agreed to. Lowen did give quite a bit of a detail on the matter, which is quite complex, but we are fully involved. In fact, we have been facilitating this matter. Unfortunately, the stand that needs to be transferred to Mr. Mire is still within a township that is not proclaimed. This township falls straddled over 2 farm portions. One farm portion has already been transferred to Gauteng province. The other is in the process of being transferred. We are in constant engagement with the Department of Infrastructure Development, which is the property custodian of all properties that fall within the provincial government in Gauteng, to have that matter resolved so that we can then engage or piggyback in the process that National Human Settlements is involved in regarding the proclamation of unproclaimed townships in the cross-border Northwest Housing Corporation cross-border properties. So to get to a point where the township establishment processes can be finalized, proclamation finalized, and we can be able to open a township register and transfer the property to Mr. Mire. We are also constantly engaging with Mr. Mire to give him feedback of all these steps that we're taking, which unfortunately are dragging out. But as the DG indicated, this is quite a complex matter with many stakeholders involved in terms of the powers to act on these properties. Chair, I will end there from our side, if risking repeating what Llewellyn has presented. As I indicated, we did provide our input into the presentation. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much for the report. Secretary, I think now is time for petitioners to make their inputs. Am I correct? Yes. Petitioners, can we identify ourselves?
Good morning, Chairperson, and everyone in the meeting. My name is Ernest Tshwane from Ga-Rankuwa, 2281, as you can see on the reports. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairperson, and Dumelang botlhe le leng ka mo ho. Wa bolela mo ke Mary Dingwane from Mabopane, 309. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, honorable members of the Portfolio Committee, officials of the City of Tshwane, and Housing Corporation. My name is Michael Mere from Ga-Rankuwa, 2827 Zone 2. Thank you.
Okay.
Chairperson, unfortunately, Mrs. Bongo Sepeng is not with us. When the date was released, already she had plans to go somewhere, so she's there. So this is why she's not here today. Thank you very much.
Okay. Can we hear your input after the presentations by various stakeholders on your issues?
Thank you, Chairperson. Let me start by thanking the committee for arranging this meeting and all those stakeholders who are here to honor the meeting. I've heard you clearly, Chairperson, when you said you have the background already. I don't know where you got the background, but I think we have to give you the background from our side as well, because this background is very important so that you can actually guide. This is a new committee. We have dealt with the previous committee so well, but unfortunately when implementation had to be done, it was a problem. So let me just introduce myself. Ernest Tshwane, I'm 65 years old. I think it's very important that you should know. But when this problem started, I was only 46 years old. So it means this case has been running over 18 years. 18 years of struggle. I'm a teacher by profession. I have lectured at the Moretele College of Education with my BA Fine Arts degree. I was lecturing there. And then I was also involved with projects. I listed the State Theatre Art Gallery, which did not actually work because of this problem. I wanted to actually expand my business using that particular State Theatre. I've got letters pertaining to the acceptance of my application that I'll later present. In 2005, I went overseas to Malaysia to the International Delphi Games, where I obtained gold medal for South Africa. And then it was shortly after my comeback from Malaysia that I was evicted from the house. As I speak, even that gold medal is nowhere to be seen because I lost a lot of my properties at the storages. I've recorded an album which I wanted to promote, a gospel album. And then this project, as I say, it actually disturbed my plans. I had a project with the Shembe Church, where I actually made a painting of their founders. And I was looking to make about 300 million out of the sales of those pictures to the members. This did not work because of this problem. I developed museums, rural museums in the area of Rustenburg. And I wanted to go to other communities to do the same. I could not go forward because of this problem. I stopped to produce my artworks. I'm a visual artist. I'm painting oil on canvas. And then this is just briefly the background of the people that you are talking to. Because unless you know our background, you may not actually understand why we were crying and so on. I mean, this really has taken a long time. And then the house that I was evicted from.
You are freezed.
The house that I was evicted from, 2281 in Unit 8 Ga-Rankuwa, I have already paid it off. I was removed from the house that I've actually paid off. With all the papers that I had, I was thrown in the street. So since 2006, January 27, I was in the street. I had to look for accommodation, and to date, I'm still struggling. I don't have a house. So I think it is very important that we should actually make you aware, because the previous committee chairperson and other members were aware of this, and then we also even gave them samples of all these mentioned projects that we got involved into. Now, Chairperson, I've listened to the presentations regarding our situation and the developments and so on. At our last meeting, on the 13th of March, 2024, we were told, we were given some timelines as to when our houses will be built and delivered. And this did not happen. I don't know what will make us trust the same information that we are getting today. I mean, between March and today, for example, I was told that my house will be delivered on the 3rd of May, 2024. I went to Mohwasa to meet with the constructor, the constructor, and then we agreed. But we met with a problem there with the municipality that they were never told about this. And then I could understand from where they come, because you cannot come and build on somebody's land without actually involving that particular person, because they had to supply services to that particular structure. So it took long. And then I tried to communicate with the HOD. At one stage, we could not communicate. My phones were not answered. And then I had to go to Mohwasa myself to go and make findings as to what the problem really is. And then lastly, shortly before the date that was mentioned, the 28th of October, shortly before that, a certain Mr. Mope requested that I write him a letter to explain exactly what happened. So I had to write that letter. And then with that letter, he said, I'm going to connect with the HOD based on this matter. So what is on the report today here is actually my efforts. Because really, if I did not actually go to these people and do whatever they requested me to do, I think we'll still be on the same position. But I think the HOD that at least something is being reported that is positive. But now, Chairperson, something that is not actually told by the presenters. I have to tell you that we were told that we are going to be built military veteran specs type of structures. We are not happy about this thing. Secondly, we were given excursion of about 10,000 rand. We were not happy Because in the first place, military veteran specs was an idea that came to address the military veteran people. Now, why should we be put under that particular sector? We're not military veterans. We have been arguing this thing over and over, but finally we gave up. We said, okay, let's just allow a progress to go on. Because the house that is going to be built, compared to the houses that I'll actually be neighboring to, is totally going to be an embarrassment. You are building an RDP between big houses. And we actually said this, that at the age that we are in, we could be in a position that we should actually build better houses. But because of this problem, everything delayed our lives. But all the same, we agreed for the sake of progress. So I'm just indicating that we were not happy. That the reason that we accepted does not actually say we were happy. We just wanted to be human enough to agree that there should be progress. As Crusher, we questioned this over and over, that what criteria was used. Because according to the Public Protector's report, it addresses your emotions, how you suffered emotionally, spiritually, and so on. And I don't think we suffered the same. We indicated to this thing. I mean, you cannot come to the same amount of money and tell the people that you are addressing them equally when they did not suffer the same. This is why my background, I'm trying to give a background of my own self to imagine, to make you imagine how the neighborhood where I used to stay looked at me. They saw a lecturer, a person who has been coming from overseas, who just got the gold medal. A person who's playing music, who has just recorded music, being thrown into the street. So I don't know how other members were treated, but in my own case, I say ex gratia cannot be the same. So another thing about this ex gratia, the 10,000 rand they talked about, it was in 2018, 2014, 2018, around there. So we indicated also that the value of that money in 2023 is not the same anymore. But nevertheless, they just went on through this thing of actually forcing us into this thing, then we agreed. So I just wanted to make the committee aware that whilst we have accepted, while the presentations have been said the way they were said, it doesn't actually say we were happy about this thing. Imagine I came from the house that I paid off, that had everything. I was actually having my friendly neighborhood. And then now I'm going to be built a house at RDP house, as if I never had a house before. People who are being given this opportunity of getting RDP houses are people who never had an opportunity to have houses before, but I had a house. So these are some of the things that we want the committee to be aware of. There are also damages. I mean, for 18 years, we've been running up and down. We've been tossed around. We spent money. We spent time. We lost our dignity. But these are not actually taken into consideration. I mean, you give somebody 10,000. What is 10,000 rand? And really, that does not actually even address the part of damages. So this is how we came to agree with the committee, because the committee was trying to say, but let's have progress. And then we had to agree. And then, you know, what pains me more is that we make meetings, and after every meeting, nothing happens. Nothing happens. I don't know whether maybe with this new committee, something will happen. But really, I'm just listening, looking at these days. I don't know whether it will happen. And people are dying. People are dying. People are dying. You know, reality was when I had COVID, I realized that you can even die before your cases are actually resolved. We have children. They're asking us questions. But what is happening? What is happening? And really, we are testing upon, this is why I say the portfolio committee did its job. But when it comes down to the people who must now implement, it becomes a problem. It becomes a very serious problem. We had a very, very friendly, smooth running with the previous committee. But, you know, they are disappointed. They thought that by now we should actually be in our houses. So that's my comment. I'm trying to say this committee must actually have our side of story, so that when you look into this case, you don't just look at it like we are being given houses and then we are happy. We're not happy. We're not happy. We're just accepting this thing for the sake of progress, and we're hurt. And this thing, I'm sure, it has even shortened our lives, because there's no normal person who can actually survive this kind of treatment. It's bad. Where officials do this to the people, law-abiding citizens, taking their houses behind closed doors, selling them to other people, and then going to courts and arranging for eviction. That's cruel. And you know, the other time I was listening to one of the presenters in the city of Tshwane saying they knew about this thing. 2 of those officials have passed on and 1 has resigned. So it means they knew about this thing. So if you knew about the crime that was actually happening, you are equally accused of the same. You cannot just fold your arms seeing people doing this terrible crime to the poor citizens, and then finally you say, no, people have died, people have resigned. Why didn't you take action at the time? Why didn't these people take action at the time? Because this matter, my matter was reported to the city of Tshwane on the same day of eviction, the 27th of January 2006. I reported to Tshwane. I reported to Northwest. They knew about this thing from the very first day. Now today they are telling us that people have died and so on. They knew these people. And if they knew them, why didn't they take action? I think I've actually tried to introduce myself and then try to give my background about this case, and let me allow other members of the other colleagues of mine to have this opportunity as well. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you. Next one. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Ke Marili Dingwane ka ke bona lengwe se Marili Dingwane mo le hele bolela le nna. Nna ke tlo bolela language ya go hi. Nna he ke le mo ke eme mo boemong ba mmaka. Re le ko ntlong ya 309 re nna ka mo teng. O tlile motho a tlo bolela gore ntlo ke ya hi. Kwa ntlo e re tsene ka di 3 tsa June 1986. Batho ko bofelong ntlo e feletsiwe le gore re ntshitswe ka mo ntlong. Re ile mafikeng hantši ke tsamaya le mme ola ke tsamaya le ena, and then go bofelong ga ona gore ile ra kry-a thuso. Ntlo yes mamaka o e patetse na sola sa e kolota, and then ile ntse re metse di-title deeds tse go bontsha gore ntlo ke ya mamaka. Motho o tlhagelela fela from nowhere a tlo bolela ntlo ke ya hae, ntlo e rekile kae go mafikeng. So re tsamaile, Mr. Chairperson, ya ba gore go tlo fitlha mo e leng gore o bofelo mama ka bolela re ntlo e tlo mmolaya. Mama ka bolela ya 309 e lositse motsadi because of ntlo ya 309 mo e leng gore ga gona thuso e le re tsebe. Ke tsamaya meeting le khaswe, ke tsamaya meeting le khaswe one transport ka koloi ya hae. Ha ke bereke Mr. Chairperson. Batho ko bofelo ho tlisa botlhoko. Re tsamaya meeting re tsamaya meeting. Sa tlang ke go pola meeting o sa re tla mo toropong ka di 11 tsa November 2022. Ka re khaswe ka re gore dilo di go tsamaya pila. Re ka tlhore sokola. Re tshepisitswe dintlo gore tla kry-a dintlo. Le ka tseno gore ntse re tsamaya re tshepisitswe dintlo. Ha re di kry-e. Ke nna la butaka. Since re ntse mo go ntlo ya 309. Mosadi a happy. O tswile ka mo ntlong because of nna le bana ba ka. na go kry-a space ka mo ntlong ya hae. Mr. Chairperson, go boima mo e leng gore ne ke ipoleletse gore e tla re ba ragetse ntlo eo ke tla nna le bana ba ka le ditlogolo tsaka gore for nna ga gona peace. Ga gona peace. Meeting o re tsamaile gape ke last year ka March ka di-31 ra Rustenburg. Ba bolela gore dintlo ba tlo di agetse tsone di-military tse re sa ditse gore ke tse bjang ke dintlo ke tse bjang di eme bokanang kang di feta ke tsela tsa go di-ex or bjang a kitse ga ra kry-a selo. Sorry. Ga tla ragelwa dintlo. Re fila di-10,000. Ga e bolela ko Rustenburg ka re 10,000 eo e ka se bose mmaka. Ke mo lositse go ile fela yana. Ke lositse motsadi. Mr. Chairperson. So gone no re eme kae? Gone re tlile meeting mo ga re itse re eme kae. Last week o tlile Phetale ka di-24 a tlompha title deed. Title deed ke e. Yes, ke title deed ke e bona ke itshwere. Mola ke lebala le open fela le open. Go irang still ba tlo aga kgotsa le tlo nna le lefela bja o lebala le ona Mr. Person a ke itse Chairperson le tlo nna le lefela bja lona. Ke batlo move out ke tswe ka mo ke shiftela batho ba le ka mo ya go. Ke khone go I try my best to hold it. Ke be strong mara I can go. Ke kopa ka check maybe ka fa feedback. It's always okay, I'm really going it's a cool. Ya leka. Ina didn't want 59. Next year 60. Mara ke 60. La haila ka ha ke konoli kere. Ha ke konoli kere. Ke sa itse hore Chairperson le tlo re botsa something se leng gore se tlo re thabisa. Se leng gore se tla re bontsha gore ke ba bona gore ba tla mo le ba tlo re agela. Mo di stand tse ba mphileng sone. Ke bona gore go tla agiwa ntlo e tla ema na. Chairperson ke kopa gore ke ifetsa ha ke ke a leboga.
Re a leboga mme. Next one.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Michael Mary. Thank you for giving me this chance to speak to you today. My struggle for this title deed has lasted 20 years, and yet I still have not received it. This delay goes beyond just paperwork. It impacts my family legacy, and my community. My late father built Speedy Training Center without any government help. He was forcefully removed from Sophia Town to Meadowlands and then to Ga-Rankuwa. And the stress of these removals echoed through his life until it ended. City of Tshwane also attempted to displace me, but I refused. As a business owner, this title deed delay has left me helpless. I could have created jobs for at least 18 people in my community. And I recently missed an opportunity to house 300 Tshwane University of Technology students due to this issue. I've let my children down and my community and my father's legacy. This ongoing injustice must end. Chairperson, I urge the government to change the laws to help the voiceless and stop this injustice. I ask that you take responsibility for fixing my property, which is now in a state of disrepair due to this prolonged struggle. I ask today for a concrete timeline to issue my title deed so I can finally bring positive change to my community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next one.
Yeah, Chairperson, all in thing, also on she's not with us today. Bongo Sepe. Thank you, Chairperson.
Okay, thanks. Thanks very much. I think we have listened to the presentations by the entities and the departments, City of Tshwane, Northwest Department, Gauteng Department, and the Housing Corporation and petitioners. And it is so painful, like they have explained to us. Let me give honorable members to interact, and then we develop a way forward. Honorable members, anyone who wants to come in? Honorable Dlamini. Honorable Dlamini, followed by Honorable Mpiti, followed by Honorable Abada, followed by Honorable Ditebe, and the last one will be, okay, Honorable Kakakile and Honorable Gamede. If we can go straight to our points on what we want to suggest. Honorable Dlamini.
Thank you, Chairman. Let me firstly greet all the colleagues that are on this platform, members of the Portfolio Committee, and the petitioners. Chair, this is very painful because we are now discussing matters of dispossession and displacement of a special kind. Matters that we are not expecting to be dealing with in the democratic dispensation. And when we speak issues of timelines, that is very imperative because with human settlements must come dignity. And once you strip people of dignity, it means that you have also stripped them of their justice in their way of life. And I'm deeply heartbroken by what we are hearing here because our expectation is that when members of the community come and approach Parliament, when you come and approach the Portfolio Committee, you have reached the last number of assistance and therefore your issues must be resolved. And the fact that up until today, because I can even hear by the tone that they are not even certain that even by giving us this presentation today, they'll be assisted. That is very heartbreaking. And on the side of municipalities who are resistant in terms of giving land, because it goes back to the timeline, because there was an issue that the municipality resisted to develop that particular land until it was found that it belonged to the provincial department. I think we must also meet COCTA because, again, we are facing an issue of coordination because all these people work for the same government. And so COCTA must also explain as to what is the crisis when municipalities are given timelines coming from the Department of Human Settlements. What makes municipalities resist and not want to participate in ensuring that people are housed and housed properly and on time? COCTA must tell us what is the synergy between ourselves as human settlements and them who go and coordinate municipalities. Because my worry is that what we are hearing today is just a fraction of the crisis that is happening in this country. And I strongly suggest that we must have a full presentation with a full database throughout all these provinces, and we must engage with COGTA. And then lastly, when it comes to the appointment of contractors, because we also don't want to go into a crisis of provide housing, but there's a problem of quality. We must be given, when reports are given to us please, I plead with the department, when you give us a report and you tell us that contractors have been appointed, you tell us what was the spec, you tell us what was the agreement, what made this contractor a qualifying contractor over those other ones who were bidding, so that we also satisfy ourselves with the fact that we have you have picked the best out of the best who will produce what is required with the spec that was given to them. Thank you very much, Chair.
Honorable Mpiti.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and also a very good morning to honorable members and as well as the departments that are here, City of Tshwane as well, and of course the petitioners who have really so kindly shared what has been a very tragic journey for them to get to this particular point in time in this particular process. Chairperson, as one of the members of this committee who was here last term when we dealt with this particular issue, I'm truly saddened that we have not been able to resolve it, that it's still an ongoing issue, because many of us who were here in this particular committee, who listened to these particular issues and asked numerous questions, both to the Northwest and the City of Tshwane, we really were urging for an immediate resolution to this particular issue. And one of the points that were made then that I will continue to make now is that really the IGR process needs to be expedited as much as possible. I think it's vitally important that that particular process is really pushed forward as much as possible. And I think, as correctly pointed out by Honorable Dlamini, Parliament is the last position or the last point in which people must come to. And we are now at this point, and I think it has taken far too long for this issue to be resolved. I'm really just urging, Chair, that please, can we really get this thing sorted out? I mean, this issue has been going on for far too long. I think it's really sad that we must sit again, the petitioners must sit again before us with the same questions, with the same responses, with the same heartache that they've been going through for such a long time. It's truly unfair, Chairperson, that they must be brought to meetings after meetings after meetings after meetings, repeating the same issues, the same problems. Can we get it resolved? What is really stopping us from ensuring that we deliver justice here? Because it's clear that an injustice was done. An injustice was done in this particular case, Chairperson. So I'm really urging Sis Nondo in the City of Tshwane, please, Sis Wam, can we get this issue resolved as soon as possible? I note the report and what is mentioned in terms of the progress of the issue, but we must act with speed, because now the issue is before us again in Parliament, and we are still sitting with some of the same points that were raised in the last term. Chair, I'm just making that point. I don't want to say too much because I've already said too much in the last term, and I don't want to repeat what was said. And it's a pity that the petitioners now again must repeat the same thing. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Abada.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning to my committee members, all the people that are there for presentations, and to the petitioners. I'm truly saddened. Being a mother, being a female, and to hear what they've gone through. And for me, the heartbreaking thing here is we're looking at over 18 years. The gentleman mentioned 2006. I mean, really, have we lost every ounce of humanity that we can't help? Why do these people have to lose their dignity? Why do they have to keep coming to our committee to beg and plead with us to assist them? I cannot imagine why a house was taken away from somebody with no reason. Where's the accountability? Why is there no accountability? And these are just 3 people from the petition, this particular one. How many others are there out there? And you know, what is the department doing about this? Where is the accountability? I mean, 18 years, I cannot fathom this. Also, I don't know if I've missed something, but why was the house taken away from the gentleman? You know, how can we need to assist, we need to get this thing sorted out. Chair, I don't know, but doing this remote or virtually, can we not meet with these people? I don't know, Honorable Betty, if you met with them previously on the previous administration, but doing it this way feels very informal, and again, it's these people's dignity that we're compromising here. We can't just show them that we're there. We need to start doing something about this. It's not fair. Human settlements, where's the human part in our settlement? It's not fair. We cannot go on like this. So, Chair, I'm asking if we can go out and meet with these people. And I know that there's plenty more, in the same position. But this is an elephant, and we need to start chewing it one bit at a time. Also, the other thing is, I just want to know, how does the tender process work when they do these tenders? And you know what? I think we can actually sit here forever and go on, but we leave it at that for now. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Ditewe.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I hope that you can see me, that the optics are okay. Chairperson, thank you. I just would like to take this opportunity once again to greet you, the DG, the petitioners, and the representatives from Gauteng, Northwest Housing Corporation, the Northwest HOD, and others, colleagues. Chairperson, I cannot agree more. I am trying to repeat after my colleagues to say we are deeply sorry, saddened by this long delay to resolve the issue that the petitioners have brought once again to this portfolio committee. It is indeed quite depressing, but Chairperson, I'd like to, this saddening and bleak picture that has been painted before us notwithstanding, to perhaps start off by thanking you. It may seem that it is a normal thing to do in the course of what you do as a chairperson of the portfolio committee, but I have carefully watched you. You have a deep sense of empathy with people. It was not long ago that we were in KwaZulu-Natal and we met with Abahlali and another organization, Tshwane, and they too expressed relief and indeed hope that their issues would be resolved simply because of the way you provide leadership to the portfolio committee. And I am quite certain that I am not in any way exaggerating because colleagues individually, collectively also express that. So why am I saying all of this? I'm saying this, that notwithstanding what happened in the past, and colleagues are indeed quite correct, Honorable Mpiti, who has had the privilege to be in this committee before, that it cannot be acceptable that people have now once again, after 5 years have passed, to come to yet another committee, this time of the 7th Parliament, to state the same issue. And, you know, gripped by this anxiety, this uncertainty as to whether that which they have been promised will indeed happen. I say, Chairperson, that all of this notwithstanding, I'm heartened by what the officials from the 2 provinces have said, including, of course, corroboration of what they have said by the Northwest Housing Corporation, that finally things like the title deeds are now being sorted, but most importantly, the brick and mortar structure must be there, because when people are as despondent as they are, we must say we are deeply sorry, Mme, who presented earlier, and you were not at fault by speaking in your beautiful mother tongue of Setswana, Wana Malasibilo. So, Chairperson, it is important that, you know, we maintain our integrity singly and collectively. How do we do this? We do this by, as Honorable Dlamini has said, following through, and indeed other members, following through decisions that have already been taken. I've looked carefully at the information that has so far been provided, follow through with all of that. And I want to go back to what Honorable Mpiti said. You know, there have over time been attempts to try and strengthen the intergovernmental relations framework. It is for this reason that there is the District Development Model 1 plans. But I think as portfolio committees such as Human Settlements, Water and Sanitation, and others, including COCTA, we have to take a deep dive and think collaboratively and synergize things in our minds so that, you know, we don't deal with the one aspect and not the other. This week, our minister and you and I, Chairperson, will be going to Cairo at the World Urban Forum. There, we cannot be talking just human settlements outside of things like dignity, as members have said. As a matter of fact, our constitution promises our people exactly that there will be dignity afforded to them, that there will be justice, social justice, that there will be fundamental human rights. That's what our constitution says. And I think, Chairperson, we must hold ourselves as a portfolio committee as well accountable. Just to conclude, Chairperson, we were in KZN, and you know that we visited one area where there is an in situ upgrading of an informal settlement called Banana City, that there were 2 residents there who would not move for various reasons, and that we started a dialogue, at least with one of them. And it is things such as these, and members are quite correct, that once we've taken a decision, our integrity will be calculated by the degree to which we are committed to following through and ensuring that people that come to us for help, the People's Tribune, Parliament, are assured that once they come to us, their grievances will be attended to. So even things such as those that may seem small, we need to be treated, we need to be trusted on the basis of which we are empathetic, we are responsive to those issues, as indeed our foundational values in the Constitution say, that we will be open, we will be responsive, we will be accountable. And we must hold ourselves true to the tenets of the Constitution and indeed its values. So, Chairperson, I know that not much talking will will effect any change. We need a tangible change in the situation of the petitioners. And indeed, a lot of what they have gone through cannot be given in figures. We cannot even pretend that we can provide concrete, lasting solace to them. But just to say that the DG will indeed respond to this. My understanding is that when we talk of a military vet house, it is the highest, if you like, in the hierarchy, because the quantum there is the biggest. Between an ordinary brick and new ground house, the one for disability and the one for military veterans. And indeed, I think the Northwest Housing Corporation will speak to the ex-gratia issue and maybe the DG, so that if there is anything that can be done, perhaps that should be revisited. But that will depend on what is available within the policy framework. Chairperson, thank you very much. And thanks to members as well for being at one as far as the plight of these petitioners is concerned. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Krakilo.
Yo, gate ka tselo se. Video. A ke tsora le khona go mpona Chair.
I don't want press a video.
Cancel. Unable to access the video.
Okay, continue.
Thank you, Chair. I've got several questions. The first one is with regard to the issue of and good morning, Bagaetsho Africa Mantle, honorable members, officials from the departments, our petitioners, and then Linnaga Bagaetsho ke swabileng ko go feta molong ka tse re di utlwileng from lona the petitioners Bagaetsho. And then get straight to the presentation, Chair. The issue ya Mr. Mere is, I'm not sure gore ke housing corp. They said gore the matter is complicated. And I don't understand why can they tell us why is the matter complicated. And then there is a say that there's a court between the city and Northwest Housing Corp. But they don't explain as to why now the thing of our people is at the court. If we can be clarified as to what is the matter. And then there's also a delay with regard to the issuing of the rate clearance certificate, still on the issue ya Ntate Mere. I just want to know as to why should it be delayed? And why can't they make it a point that the clearance of rate certificate is provided so that this process can continue? I mean, it has been for more than 18 years now, still dealing with the same issue. And I hope that this committee is not going to take this matter for more than a year. Within 6 months, all these issues must be concluded if we really have people who are committed to do what they are expected to do. And then, Chair, there was an issue of employees who illegally transferred the houses and whatever, some died and what, but the one who resigned can still be called to come and account. Those who died, there is nothing that we can do. But those who are alive, there is something that can be done. And then on the issue, Lidingwana, there is a delay with the issuing of approval of the top structure. And we sit here at the committee, as a committee, and then we want to accept that there's a delay with the issue of approval. That thing is completely unacceptable. that we will get such a report that there is a delay. So under normal circumstances, Chair, I just want to ask, how long does it take under normal circumstances for the department to approve the top structure? Because there is an agreement. The petitioners, they've compromised, but we are still making them as if they are at our mercy. No, the government failed them. Then all these things, we must make it a point that they are addressed as soon as possible. And then the issue Askrashia, indicated that they wanted to know about the criteria which was used to allocate that, and there was no response. If you can be given what criteria did they use to give people the 10,000 rands as the Pumula Dikelate. And then ko issue nya Mebongo. This thing in the presentation that the Northwest Housing Corp is currently busy with the deed search. Why now? And how long does it take? Because looking for the deed search and the debtors, it can take less than a week. But from the presentation, they met during October and they are committing to finalize it at the end of November. Why so long? And it's so unfortunate that the CEO is not here, who can come and answer for all these things, the delays, and to come and give us assurance as to what is it that is going to be done by Northwest Housing Corp. Because where I am now, I do not expect that the company secretary can commit anything. And on the other hand, the HOD cannot commit on behalf of the CEO. So we are just stuck. But some of the things from now onwards, the officials, they must know that when they are invited into this type of the meeting, it's compulsory attendance. No apologies should be accepted. And in the absence of the CEO, you could have sent some of the executive managers. The company secretary is there for governance, not for administrative issues. That is all that I wanted to say, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Gamete.
Thank you very much, Chair. First of all, I would like to greet all honorable members, the officials of the national and provincial government. Special greetings to the petitioners. Hey, this thing. Hey. No, maybe my honorable members, my colleagues have said a lot, but there is something that I've just picked up. We've been doing a mass site visit. And from what I've picked up, I think there is a resistance and also arrogance when it comes to ukusebenza ngokubambisana between the provincial and local government. Because there is something that has been raised by one of our members. Like, for instance, we also need to make sure that we nudge as national department in the portfolio committee. Maybe we get a full database of full beneficiaries, and also even the details of our officials that are responsible for deliver a service to Abantu, because this matter has been dragging. Ubaba, if he says he's 65 years old and this thing started when he was, I think he said 40, but it's just over 18 years. Until today, they are not yet, they are not yet clearly and they don't receiving what they expected. I think another thing, it seems this veteran housing project, I don't think it was properly introduced. And also, and this thing is, if you as if is forced kuma end users, regardless of my opinions are, because if you look at the issue of square meters and so forth, you can tell ukuthi no, this thing is not, even ama stakeholders, akufanele ngabakhona, they are not properly engaged. And umbuzo khona ukuthi, what is the plan in place, mhlambe department that enayo, ukuthi in the near future they make sure that there is a proper plan in place and my engagements to make sure that even the allocation is done accordingly. Sengivala, Chair, I think I must point this one out because it actually, you know, for our departments at the provincial level and also local government, it starts with us here at a national level. We must try by all means that we respect indlela yokusebenza at all times. I did, like I didn't even know ukuthi, Chairperson, I knew that it's not all of us who are going to, I just heard that it's not all of us who are going to Egypt, but I just found out now ukuthi Honorable Teteb is the one that we have chosen to hamba naye. I'm not sure whether it's because we are from the same organization. I didn't mean to put that here. I was going to discuss with you on the side, but since now that Honorable Tebe just put this thing here, it's one of the things that if we are trying to find an amicable solution in every situation, let us try by all means that we avoid being antagonistic. Maybe deliberately or undeliberately, but let us try and by all means that we avoid. I so wish the department, DG, I am glad that you are here at the department level. Can you also, like my fellow comrade has already alluded to, Comrade Dudlamini, we wish to have a database, beneficiaries, and also names or amagama responsible for delivery, because it happened we went to like Honorable Tebe has mentioned, contact details about who are relevant. And we pushed so much. And thanks to your DDG who was there with us, we've been pushing and they are happy. Things that were mentioned by the young lady like water and sanitation has been brought on site, and they've been removed from the site to temporary stand. So for us to have such details, it will help us, because we also need to make sure that even our contacts are available to abantu who are expected to benefit, so that they can contact us. They are not annoying us in any way. In fact, if they tell us, Tina, we must phone these people and put pressure, because at times we know that as officials, we don't want to put pressure on one another. But that's what people have elected us to do. We must put pressure on you so that we deliver on time. This issue must be brought to an end. It's high time that we rise for our people and be united for once, so that we make sure that our people kubuyisela human dignity. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Gamede. Honorable Poole.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you. Morning, all members and the parliament, and as well a special greeting to the petitioners. Chair, this morning I stand up with a song in my heart. No, the song is Away, listening to what we are listening to. Not repeating my fellow members, I want to go straight to the point and say that accountability and proper oversight without consequence management didn't occur for this petitioner's ordeal. One, who is responsible for monitoring and ensuring timely progress for the petitioner's complaints? What mechanisms are in place to track progress and address the delays of this petitioner's issues? How will the department ensure accountability for the unresolved issues the petitioners still facing? And then we have to go to where we have the specific as department actions. Is one, they have to provide a detailed plan and timeline for addressing these long waiting problems of the petitioners. Commit to regular progress updates and public reports, including the petitioners, and establish a dedicated hotline or support system for these petitioners who are affected by it. Chair, and the other thing I want to mention is through all the presentations and listening to the petitioners, you can observe that there is no collaboration or working together as different spheres of government, for that matter, to fast track these problems to bring it to the end. I thank you, Chair, and I hope sincerely the department will prioritize this issue, and as the other member has said, this is only one of many still out there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think members have made their inputs. And before we develop a way forward on this one, I just want to hear whether there are responses from stakeholder institutions. Let me start with Tshwane.
Sorry, Chair. May I just add this last issue? Perhaps I know it's not part of this, but it's related, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Chair, may I just take this opportunity to say, because of the involvement of the Northwest Housing Corporation and the presence of our department through the DG, there is a similar matter that is one of transfer of assets to people in the Free State in Tabanchu at a later stage, working with the provincial department there, Gauteng Human Settlements and the city of Mangaung. I'd like that matter to be prioritized because people have approached me there to say these assets come from the time of Tshwane and they would like them to be transferred in their names. This is in Tabanchu, Chairperson. I may not be able to give you the specific location at the moment, but it's something that can be done. Apologies, Chair. I thought one should act proactively because of this matter having been brought up, and I think we need to bring relief to our people. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much for submitting that. We may not entertain it now. Let's get more details, and then we'll see. We'll really prioritize it and see how we move forward. I was saying if representative of institutions want to say something before we develop a way forward. Tshwane, you want to say something?
Thank you, Chair. My name is Petition. I'm the Divisional Head for Human Settlements Administration in the Department of Human Settlements at the city. I'm going to address two issues. The one is the Mara land issue and the complexity of that, and then the clearance certificate from Gauteng DID. Yes, the Mara issue is very, very difficult. So all our cross-border issues are difficult because the ownership lies with the city, but the administration with Northwest Housing Corporation. And so that was the one difficulty. The Maryland, we also didn't know who the owner was because it wasn't on the deeds register. So we literally had to write to all the possibilities. We wrote to Public Works, we wrote to Agriculture, we wrote to Madunsa to just check who the ownership was. And that process took quite long. Eventually, early this year, we got a response from Department of Public Works to say, yes, the land is in their name, and they have been asked some time ago to transfer the land to Gauteng. So then we had to track how far each of the land, because there's more than one land portion, they also need to be consolidated, but we had to track each land parcel to see what was happening. As we said, for one of the land parcels, it's already been transferred to Gauteng, but the other portion, farm portion, is in the process of being transferred, but DRD needs to give us or Gauteng needs to provide the clearance certificate for the land to be transferred. And that's what we're waiting for. As we've said, we have written to the HLD at DRD to request her assistance to expedite the matter. And we are hoping that it does happen in the next few weeks. So once all the land is in the ownership of Gauteng, it will then need to be consolidated and the township established. Once the township established, it'll have to be registered and the title deeds registered with the deeds office, and then only can we give out the title deeds. And all those processes are managed by different bodies, and that makes it as well very complex and difficult to deal with in that process. In terms of the clearance certificate from the province, because before the land is transferred, there needs to be a clearance certificate, and for that, province needs to provide that. And we've also requested assistance from province to get the clearance certificate sorted out as quickly as possible so that the land can be transferred to Gauteng and then the whole township establishment and proclamation process can be undertaken. From my side, thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nondo. Housing Corporation, do you want to say something? Nothing? Gauteng Human Settlements?
Okay, no, thanks, Chairperson. As human settlement, the speaker, when he talks about province, we have got 10 departments. DIDs is what you call it public works, but in Gauteng we call it DID. So it's something that Chair, together with Tshwane, will follow up the letters that have been written to province. It was not necessarily to the human settlement, but matters that relate to the human settlement interaction, based on the letter that we got from Tshwane, the MEC will look at that. No, thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Housing Corporation?
Thank you, Chairperson. We are coming in to clarify the issue of the ex gratia, how it was calculated. My predecessor indicated to me that it was 33% of the purchase price, which purchase price was 29,000. So 10,000 represent 33%. So it was fairly equitable to the capital amount. And all that amount have been paid to all the beneficiaries. As for the stand of Mr. Mere, it is still awaiting the entire time.
Okay. We are losing you. Okay, network problem. HOD Northwest.
Thank you very much, Chair. As the Department of Human Settlement, we are committed to helping Mr. Kaswe because as soon as the Housing Corporation availed the portion of land, we immediately appointed the contractor. Unfortunately, the contractor could not develop, despite the fact that we had received permission from Housing Corporation to develop in that site. The municipality has always been a stumbling block. But now that we have removed that stumbling block, there is an understanding between the municipality, the Housing Corporation, and ourselves. We have advised the contractor accordingly. He is submitting the designs to the municipality on Friday, the 1st. The municipality is saying they will take 6 weeks to just approve that design. That's outside our hands. As soon as the designs are approved and the house is accordingly registered with the NHPRC, it will be constructed. Thank you.
Thank you. DG?
Chairperson, thank you very much. And I think we share in the observations of the committee, and we are cognizant of the struggles that the petitioners had faced. And I think we had, on the directive of our current minister, we had put the shoulder behind the wheel to try and bring all the parties together. And I think we also, as a national department, adapted our posture, which initially took a view that said this is a provincial issue and which affected municipalities, but wherein we stepped in to take leadership to coordinate the different spheres and to make sure that the intergovernmental function is actually functional and that we resolve the disputes that may be there. As the HOD does indicate, many of the stumbling blocks ever since we began in earnest to resolve this matter and to step in as national and to coordinate the other spheres, we have managed to bring all parties to the party, and we have been able to see and register some degree of progress. For us, we knew that the key critical success factor would be that indeed the title deeds are registered in favor of the beneficiaries and the petitioners in this case, and that will pave way to the resolution of other matters. And in between, our attempt really is to resolve even matters before court in an amicable manner among the three spheres. We really do not believe that it is necessary to fight over things such as land and so on when we are one cohesive government. And the centrality of national government to coordinate the other spheres is not in doubt constitutionally. And that is why we had accepted that responsibility. And we wish to reiterate our commitment, which at the last meeting of the previous committee, we were able to report on the progress. Back then, we had indicated that we had reached an agreement and we had clarified the issues of land, and we had committed ourselves that the title deeds will be issued. And as you may have heard, as we report today, those title deeds have been issued. We are aware that we have had to find each other with the petitioners in terms of meeting their expectations and in terms of what the prescripts allow us to do at this juncture we are at. And I think we had even nationally accepted that we may have to bring a special dispensation for the petitioners in the context of allowing them to get the highest available subsidy, being that which is reserved for military veterans, and that we do so And in so saying, wish to confirm the observation and commentary of Honorable Ditabe accordingly. And I wish to assure members that the Minister and ourselves as a department, we are quite committed to resolving this matter to the extent that at each of our min-tops, the Minister has the Mawiga matter as a standing item on which regular reporting is given. Honorable Poole wish to know what mechanisms are there in place to track. We, the National Department, do call all the stakeholders that are here to come and brief us on the progress, and we do track the key milestones and the key critical success factors we have set for ourselves and which we have agreed with both the two provinces and the metro in this regard on what needs to be done together with the housing corporation. And we are quite now at a level where we have confidence that we have moved significantly. For instance, we had already appointed a contractor as the Northwest province in this regard, although there has been disappointment, but we had nevertheless at the last meeting resolved that we do that process once again quickly and that we move with speed, and where it's necessary, we also seek to short-circuit the process by participation and ensure that we can be able to get the top structures going as quickly as it's possible. And I'm sure from the last report that the colleague from Tshwane has just given does indicate the commitment towards resolving the matter. I think, Chair, correctly as it has been observed by Honorable Dlamini, that the timeframes must be spelled out and quite clearly. I think what we can share with yourselves is our together with all other stakeholders to ensure it's clear what we are trying to do and by when, and that it be clear to members of the committee. And I think members of the committee can also use that, the deadlines set for ourselves by ourselves, to hold us accountable to those and to ensure that we are accountable in as far as meeting those deadlines to resolve on the matter of the particulars. We are the first ones to admit that it has taken quite long. And by the time the matter was brought to our attention, and by the time the current minister had decided to intervene, and at the request of the portfolio committee, we have seen, we started on a slow pace, but with time we gained greater traction, and we are where we are now, believing that we have resolved the major stumbling blocks to resolving the matter. We have dealt with all the policy matters. We have had to go through the public protector process, and we have committed ourselves fully to the remedial actions that the public protector had spelled out, and which was a compact that then we had entered into with the petitioners together with the portfolio committee, the previous one, and which is the basis on which we will want to continue on that trajectory with the current portfolio committee to bring the matter to finality in the current administration. And Honorable Kekaki was saying we shouldn't go beyond the 6 months process. We will share the implementation protocol, and the timelines will be spelled out quite clear, and members will then be able to see where we are with the process and hold us accountable as such. I think like we have done before, we had apologized to the petitioners for what has happened, and we wish to indicate that at the time we had sought to hold the official who had resigned accountable. They had resigned, and I think in terms of labor law related aspects, we had lost then the authority to actually hold the person accountable because they were no longer an employee. But that does not negate the criminal aspects, which now the matter is with the law enforcement agencies to pursue the fraudulent manner in which the houses were sold, which we hold the view that this was illegal, and hence our attempt at charging the said officials. But we believe that law enforcement must do its job to investigate the case of fraud in this respect, and to hold those that have done this to the beneficiaries accountable. We have taken political responsibility for what has happened because it was done by the employees of the state. And it is for that reason that indeed the public protector had recommended an ex gratia payment, and which we have not contested and have duly agreed to. The determination thereof, we have heard what the beneficiaries are saying relative to the issue of each quantum and the value of money over progression of time. And I think that those considerations are what we can leave as the purview of the Northwest Housing Corporation to consider, having had the dissatisfaction that has been proffered in this meeting. But we are nevertheless committed towards finalizing and finding that we bring the matter to finality by providing and meeting all of the remedial steps in the public protector report. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, DG and HOD, DDG Gauteng, HOD Northwest, Head of Human Settlement, Tshwane, and the Company Secretary of Housing Corporation, honorable members. I think we all agree that is very much unfair and disheartening. And we were told that at the level of portfolio committee, the petitioners are satisfied, and we're getting commitment from the DG that at the level of implementers, they'll try to push. I don't want us to go back. There are agreements that have been reached. We must move forward. I think the proposal is that the outer date should be not more than 6 months. But I'm going to suggest, DG, that we treat this as a project and we try to project manage it. We're having a meeting with the MECs and possibly HODs of human settlements in provinces, 21st, 22nd, I can't remember very well. Maybe at that time, if we can just get progress report, maybe DG yourself, not necessarily yourself as a person, but your office can appoint somebody from national, because there are 2 provinces and municipalities here, to coordinate that. On the 21st, 22nd, we get a snap report of progress. Then after 3 months in February 2025, we get a clear progress. We hope by that time we shall have moved. Then we'll be left with another 3 months if there's no enough progress. But the outer date is 6 months. Then when you give us as the committee your timelines, you'll be knowing that the outer date is not more than 6 months, but the first report will come on the 21st, 22nd of November, somewhere there. The next report in February around there, which is 3 months. Will that be fine, DG? As a way forward?
Chairperson, that is doable.
That is doable. Honorable members, is that agreeable as a way forward?
Yes, Chair.
Good, Chair.
Okay.
Agreed,
Chairperson. Chairperson.
Yes. Yes.
Agreed and agreed. And I think this gives us the basis of some framework moving forward in same or similar situations. Perhaps at this point, in addition to what you have said, we just need to state or restate the obvious. Section 56 of the Constitution obviously gives us power as a committee of parliament to invite anybody or even summons them if they refuse to come. So I think in keeping with the spirit that has been outlined by the DG at the level of the department, we are, in a sense, also custodians of the Constitution insofar as we are there to do oversight over the executive, and to the extent that the actions, administrative or otherwise, of the executive impact the lives of our people. So I'm saying the issue that I raised, Chairperson, and it's been raised by other members as well, of the one plans, the district development model. Another member raised the issue of the IGR. We need to find a way that is concrete, predictable, that allows us to do oversight over the executive, so that some things we are able to act preemptively to avoid these kinds of situations. Just to conclude, Chairperson, you know, some years back when Chapter 3 of the Constitution was developed, I remember at that time in the then various provincial chapters of what is now SALDA, Professor Yakub took us through and, you know, made us see why local government should not be referred to as a level. I'm quite satisfied with what most of the national departments are doing, but our problems are always with local government. Listen to that argument where at first, Tshwane, City of Tshwane says, no, you have no jurisdiction over that. And then later on, they changed their mind, but no consequences whatsoever. It is very important that we constantly, and in that meeting with the MECs, that these people take very seriously the spirit of the district development model. This is not an own affairs thing. The Constitution is clear. They are distinct spheres of government, but they are equally interdependent and interrelated. We cannot afford to compromise the well-being of our people with people that look at the jurisdictional areas of their various spheres of government as own affairs, which may not be touched by anybody. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. As a parting word, Mr. Khaswe, on behalf of petitioners, do you have something to say?
Chairperson, initially I had something in mind about setting up a task team that could actually be given reports monthly, but I think that one has been addressed. I just want to highlight one thing to the committee, that there are two issues that I wanted to run. I wanted them to run concurrently. The issue of addressing the damages. I don't know who must address this, because we have been trying to get hold of the minister. We can't get that. We don't know who must make a decision. Or is it a question of appointing an actuary to determine the amount of damage in monetary value? Or should we take this matter afterwards to the courts to ask for our damages? Well, can you just guide us there, Chairperson? And then finally, I just wanted to comment on what Mr. Mahodiri was saying. Mr. Mahodiri keeps going back to the same thing of saying 33% of what? We're talking of question of emotions here. We're not talking about the value of houses. So I don't know whether we should actually pursue this thing further or should just drop it the way, because I think he does not understand what we are talking about. If it goes back to the public protector's report, he will actually understand that it's not about the property's value. It's about addressing the emotions of individual petitioners. Lastly, is this one of, is it possible that we can meet the minister at one stage? That we can actually try to talk to her and then make sure that we are now happy about whatever decision that will be taken regarding our compensation on the damages. Thank you.
Thank you very much. DG, you listened to the request. I think the DG will talk to the minister, and the minister will respond with a request to meet the petitioners. I think even members of the committee, after looking at our program, there was a request from one member that we need to meet with the petitioners face to face, not virtually. I think we'll look at that. DG, can you take that up with the minister and then respond to the petitioners? I wanted to say, let us focus on the making sure that petitioners are given their houses. Then from there, we're able to see what course of action we can take, having evaluated the situation. But I think it's important and it's possible that the minister can meet petitioners. It is also important that as a committee looking at our program, we are able to meet with the petitioners. I think DG is here. He will request the minister to see whether he can meet with them. DG, are you still here? Have you heard the request?
Yes, Chair, I have, and I will take the message to the Office of the Minister.
Okay. Having said that, thanks very much. I think the petitioners can be released. Hello?
Chair, I'm Michael Mary. I'm really confused when the city of Tshwane say it is difficult to register my property. They've been saying that for a long time, up until they told me that they'll get a place for me somewhere else. And then I refused. And in their letters that they wrote to me on the 10th, it was on the 10th of September, they told me that they are only waiting for clearance. Why is it now they say to me it is difficult for them to register my property? I just want them to know that I'm not going to give up until I get my title deed. You need to know that I am not going to give up. There's nothing difficult in registering the property. Even one of the officials, the one who spoke that it is difficult to register the property, he once told me that even if it was the president who bought the property, it was going to be difficult for him to register it. So I am not the president. I am Michael Mary, and I have the right, because I paid fully for that property. I need my title deed. I don't owe anything on it.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, I think we have put a task team that is led by the DG or his delegate. It will look at all these things because we want everything to be resolved as a matter of agency, including your issue of title deed. So let's leave it in that committee. Like I said, we'll get a synopsis report on the 21st, 22nd. We'll get a fully fledged report on progress in February, but the outer date is not more than 6 months. So they will give us a schedule with timelines, and your issue, Mr. Mayor, is also part of that issue, of those issues that must be resolved by that task team. Thanks very much. I think we are done with the first set. Let's quickly move to the second set. Can we see the agenda, Secretary? The petitioners on this one are released if you wish to leave, but if you want to remain, there's no problem. We are on item 7 on the Human Settlement Western Cape and Breede Valley Municipality. Can we get a report, Western Cape Human Settlement? Or DG, do you want to comment before Western Cape comes in?
Chair, just to indicate that the matter has served before the previous portfolio committee as well, and it's a matter that is ongoing, that is being resolved. And once more here, we know that the provincial government has been taking a lead. We have also taken at the behest of the previous committee. We had to step in and to ensure that we too support the province to the resolved. So the province can present the report on an update.
Okay, thanks very much. Western Cape.
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, honorable members. My name is Camilla August. I'm the Chief Director responsible for Human Settlement Planning within the Department of Infrastructure, the branch Human Settlements in the Western Cape. I do submit an apology for my DDG, Labeka Skevman, who has asked me to represent her at this engagement. I have presented this matter previously, Chairperson, and I am joined today by the National Department. The municipality has contributed as well as the internal officials are here, the human settlement infrastructure officials which are here. I am going to ask if I can present, unless the Secretariat, I've not really presented on Zoom before. We usually use Teams. I wouldn't mind if the Secretary, oh, wait, here's a button. Let's see.
Can we see your face?
Oh, okay. 1 second, Chairperson. Let's get back to that screen.
In the meantime, Secretary, can you give her hosting rights?
Yes, Chairperson, thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning. So this is me. I'm in the Western Cape.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Let's just see if we can present. Let me know, Chairperson, if you can see that.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, Chairperson, I'm going to go through the presentation. Thank you to
just put it on slide more, or slideshow.
Oh, yes, of course. Is that better, sir?
Yes,
okay.
Continue.
Hi, good morning again. The presentation that I'm presenting to you today was prepared jointly with the National Department of Human Settlements, as well as the municipality. And we have also engaged the Housing Development Agency, who we've appointed to support the province in this initiative. So I'm speaking on behalf of the team that's put this together. We are requesting that the Portfolio Committee note the presentation and the progress that's been made in this regard. So where the issue arose was through the councillor who raised the lack of development of top structures on the New Mandela Square site. There's been a number of engagements, a number of frustrations by the Portfolio Committee on the slow pace of delivery. And at the last engagement, the Portfolio Committee asked that the National Department, the province, the municipality then establish a kind of joint task team so that we could work through this. There's been extensive engagements in this regard. There were meetings held on, as you can see, the 9th, the 16th, the 21st, the 23rd of November. There was a 2-day technical engagement of the different stakeholders in the municipality in November last year. And that led to a number of funding being made available for different aspects of the project. And I'll get to the 2.7 million a bit later. But just to give you an understanding of the project, there are 2 pockets of land, the New Mandela Square 652 sites. They have been serviced, but they are heavily invaded. So if you have a look here at the site in 2010 and the site now, there's now over, in 2022, there was over 5,000 structures. And that, of course, makes the density and the decanting requirement becomes very, very urgent, because without that, we can't move forward in terms of providing these substructures. The Breede Valley Municipality, to ensure that there's consistency in community understanding, because that was a frustration raised with by the councillor previously, has consistently been engaging with the municipality. The last to engage with the stakeholders. The last engagements were the 4th of September and the 25th of September, and then the IDP budget meetings are intended or was on the 24th of October. So these are the different issues that were raised. We need to decant the new Mandela site. We need to move persons so that we can actually build the top structures on the different sites. So one of the different aspects, the first is that we need to get the decanting site ready, and we are busy constructing, we will be constructing houses at Transhex. So the intention is to then decant some of the qualifying beneficiaries to Transhex and relocate some persons to the intended decanting site. So to do that, what we've done is we've appointed the Housing Development Agency. And we've given them a number of different criteria to implement. They need to finish the master implementation plan, a decanting strategy. They need to do some counting, enumeration. And the latest that we've done is also ask them to support the municipality to finish the project feasibility report so that we can ensure that the funding goes into our 25-26 business plan. So as you can see here, in our ops cap budget, we've put aside 3 million rand for this particular project in this financial year for the HDA to implement the parts of the preparation work that's needed. And then we have put in 2.56 million in the 25-26 financial year for implementation, for the project readiness report to come through, and then the initiation of implementation. Then we've got, and that is, sorry, I'm going backward, that's for the IRDP site, and it will be retained for the investigations, the project readiness funding. Then we've got the relocation area. So to decant, we need to get that relocation area done. The project initiation document has already been received by the department. The municipality has spent internal funding on getting this report ready, and we now require the feasibility report, and that's the one I referred to earlier, where we've asked the HDA, the municipality has indicated they don't have the capacity, they're struggling to get this report done, and we have a timeline for the National Department of when we need to submit projects so that it can go into next year's budget. We've asked the HDA to help the municipality put this report together. So as you can see here, there's 2.6 million. We want to see that money stay in the 25-26 business plan. And the HDA will be helping us with that. Then we've spoken to Transhex about the reallocation of qualifying beneficiaries. So this project is ongoing. In our budget at the moment, we've got 26.5 million for 150 houses in 25-26, and then 42 million for 200 houses in 26-27. The project implementation readiness report that will follow the PFR. So the HDA will be preparing that as well. And we're looking at 2.056 million for the PIRR report in the next financial year. Okay, so the feasibility studies will be undertaken. The HDA appointment is imminent. They're already working with us. They've set up the timelines and all of those things. And then the budget that we have for 26-27 for further interventions on the north of Mandela site is 4 million under the ISUPG. So where we are now, quick traffic light report for the portfolio committee. The NGO has already computed the enumeration report. The community engagements have been undertaken and are continuing to be undertaken. The HDA has now been sourced, and they will be supporting the development of the feasibility approval as well as the implementation readiness approval. And the anticipated timeline for that is March 2025 and then July 2025. So one will be completed in this financial year and the next will be in the next year. Then there's more strategic work. So the upgrading master plan, the aerial imagery, so the GIS, the drones, all of those things, the decanting and relocation strategy, and then the review of the internal engineering report. All of that will be completed by November 2025, and it has been budgeted for. We're anticipating that the decanting to the new Mandela Square site will happen in July, will begin in July 2026. And the budget set aside to initiate that project is 4 million rand. And then, of course, the construction of top structures, once we've decanted, would begin after that. And we're anticipating August 2026. That's in brief, Chairperson, our presentation. We ask that the Portfolio Committee note the implementation plan that we've submitted and the progress that's been made. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chief Director. Thanks very much. Do we have petitioners? Can we hear from them?
Thank you, Chair. Audible. You hear me, Chair?
Yes.
Yes, I don't know. I try to show my face so that you
I can see your face.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. Chair, my name is Moses Mangale. I'm a ward councillor at Ward 16 under Breede Municipality. As I write this petition to the Portfolio Committee, the reason is because of I saw I can say the go slow of the municipality, if I can put it in that words, Chair, because even if you can see the presentation of the department here, it speaks about 2025-2026 financial year. Meanwhile, other things that they already done. There was a NGO called Kayamnandi. It was 2018, Chair. That NGO, I just give you a feedback and a background. I will be not in too much, Chair. I will be just take 5 minutes of your time if you allow me to give you a background.
Continue.
That NGO chair was appointed by the province. The name of the NGO is Kayamnandi. That NGO done the feasibility start, and after 6 months, it gone. Then we never receive any report from the NGO up until 2020, if I'm correct, where there is a NGO called PEP. And then also PEP do the feasibility start and also the report of milestones that PEP supposed to done, it's done. I was part of a PEP. So after that, we were waiting for the municipality to implement and the province. Up until now, they did not implement anything up until now, Chair. Have you seen the report, Chair? It says, in Mandela Square, let me put it clear, these projects are different. The upgrading of Mandela North is not affect the area that called a New Mandela. The New Mandela area is a service plot where they're supposed to build a 652 houses. Those 652 houses was approved by the council in 2014. When they approved, it was approved for 3 areas. Then the contractor was hired. Also, the name of the contractor, it's a Power Construction. Power supposed to build 652 houses in New Mandela, 2014, and also in Tidorens, Ward 5, Orchard, and also in Ward 21, Ivan Park. And then the project went well in Orchard, Ward 5. Power start, built, and finished, and went to Ward 21. When suppose the project to come to Ward 16, Zwele Temba, it stopped up until now. Then they keep doing a beneficiary list, register beneficiary list, and everything. Then, Chair, it end up when they doing beneficiary list, giving people hopes that their house will be built soon. Every time, Chair, there are old people that are dead now. May their soul rest in peace, because of they were waiting for those housing. Up until now, Chair, as we speak, there is nothing happening. There is no issue that we just need on that area, Chair. The contractor will zoom in and do the beneficiary list and start build the housing. I don't see the delaying. Why is the delaying? Because there was a contractor that built 81 housing, if I'm correct, 2015. Those contractor, the name of that contractor, it was Jubilee Construction. That contractor, Chair, it was doing a beneficiary list themselves and also built the house. There was no way they saying, we had a meeting with the community where the community agreed that if you want to build a house, they will remove to the corner of the plot, then you can build a house. And also all those contractors that were building housing in New Mandela, they did the same. There were no ways that we take people from here to the other area for a period of we done building housing. We did not do that. Then, Chair, the last, it was the upgrading of informal settlement in Mandela North and also eMagwaleni. eMagwaleni is a new area started in 2017, Chair. Chair, Mandela North has been there for almost 27 years now, as we speak. That area, the 90% of the area, there is no electricity, there is no flushing toilet, there is no water. They suffer. And meanwhile, Chair, those people are suffering. Even the old people it's difficult for them to go to the clinic because there is no street and it's not safe for them. As we speak now, there is illegal connection that are taking place because of people, they need electricity. Now they do illegal connection. And it affects those people because their shanks were every day bent down. So we're facing those challenging, Chair, where there is a flood. You can't even get assistance of those people because the area that are living there, it's really bad. And then you go to the issue of a new area called eMagwaleni, started in 2017, Chair. That area, there is nothing happened. Those people, they are using plastic bags, so bright plastic bags to help themselves at night so that they can be able at the morning to take that bag to throw away. So it's painful, Chair. Then we will get a report that speaks about 2026, 2027. It shows you, Chair, that there is no sympathy for those people that are living there. By now, Chair, because we had a lot of meetings with SIT, by now, Chair, we expected that the department will come and say, we start at the issue of housing 652 in Mandela Square. We will start to do a beneficiary list on the 1st of November this year, this financial year. And then by March, that beneficiary list should be done. And then by May, they start to build housing. That's the report we were expected. By now, if you can see, Chair, it's not like that. But let me not waste your time, Chair. Thank you very much to give me an opportunity to speak on this matter.
Thanks very much. Chief Director, what can you say after that input?
Thank you, Councillor. Thank you, Chairperson. So the Councillor is correct. They did do a feasibility study and on that basis, the municipality has submitted the project initiation document, which I refer to now, as the work done by PEP provided guidance on how we can unlock the development for Mandela Square. The challenge remains that there are 2 families per site, and without decanting, we cannot develop. So we did ask, and the council also mentioned power, but power was not willing to just simply move families around, which would be unsustainable. And for that reason, power would not do what the councillor is saying. So there are 2 families. We do need to decant the site to ensure development. That's my input, Chairperson. Thank you.
You say there are 2 families who must be moved.
No, on each site, there were 2 families per site. So there's double the amount of occupants than should be on the site already, besides the continued growth of the settlement. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much. Honorable members, there is a report. Can we focus on developing a way forward? I don't see a hand. Can I say, DG, if we treat it like we did, we have a sort of project manage it, interact with the province, involving the concerned petitioners, just for the province to give you timelines, a schedule with timelines. Of course, the expectation from the councillor is that at least by next year, June, July, they expect that construction will start so that people can have roof over their head. Will that be possible, Chief Director, DG? Maybe let me start with the Chief Director.
Chairperson, thank you. I think I want to be realistic with the portfolio committee. And the dates that we've put before you are dates where we've considered the readiness, all of the aspects, the timing that needs to be undertaken. Committing to an earlier date would simply mean, and I'm talking, all of the spheres of government have gotten together to do this. All of us have identified how things can be prioritized. We've pulled in the HDA to ensure that the most acceleration that can happen, which includes the HDA providing support to the municipality in terms of capacitation for getting the applications ready. If we then put in dates that are not based on project readiness, all we're doing is setting ourselves up because we can't meet those dates. The dates that have been put forward here have been put together based on the data at hand in terms of readiness. But perhaps my national colleagues or the municipality would like to input as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. DJ, do you want to say something?
Yes, indeed, Chairperson. Thank you very much. And I think that our colleagues from the Western Cape are spot on. Chair, this is one project in which, after the portfolio committee asked that we step in, that we came from a point where there was no project existing at all, where there were just people who have settled on a piece of land. And since then, there has been more settlement and more people settling there. To the extent that now, if you are to develop in Sudi, where people are located, you actually need to have some people decanted elsewhere because the numbers we are seeing are not sustainable for development there. To a situation where we began project managing this situation to the extent that with the project management aspects that we have put in place and the processes we have looked at, we have had a thorough deep dive into this and interrogating all what we have been set to do. To the extent that we brought in the HDA to manage the process on behalf of the municipality, which clearly did not have capacity to have a project readiness document that could be a project proposal received by the province, so the province can incorporate into their business plans so that those business plans can come to us nationally for funding. And as the Chief Director has already reported, we have been quite proactive and relatively fast since the Portfolio Committee has said we must bring all spheres under one roof and resolve on the matter. We are now at a stage where in the forthcoming financial year, we have money already availed for 150 houses to be developed. We are already planning ahead that when the HDA does get formally appointed as a project manager to assist with the process, that we can start with the processes, and it will require, unfortunately, quite politically tough decisions of decanting people. We are already anticipating that there would be community resistance towards decanting, but it is the only way, and I think it will help our cause because whilst the councillor is a petitioner himself, he also remains a councillor of those people in that area. And he's the one who's supposed to facilitate for the decanting of the people out of the area so that we're able to develop the area in a better manner and we're able to resettle people. We have a responsibility legally, even to those we have to decant. Wherever they go, we will have to take responsibility for them. But for purposes of the development of the site we're talking about, the decanting is necessary. So I want to assure the chairperson that we have our ducks in a row. In this case, we are even planning ahead to future and outer financial years. And we are putting this already in the ISUP grant, and we are also putting it ahead in future into the HSDG grant. So you could imagine that we have paced ourselves, we have looked at what is possible. We have also taken into account the capacity of the municipality and enhanced that capacity, and we are putting funding into and building it in to support that process of development going forward, so that once the ball starts rolling, we don't end up where we now say we have stopped. There is a problem with the project and we have not project managed it well. So I think the timeframes we have given after us and the HDA and the province, as well as the municipality, have put our heads together. Those are the most realistic timeframes considering the state of readiness and work that still needs to be done pre-development, including the decanting process. Thanks, Chair. And of course, we've got to then stamp and stop the increment in new settlements in the area, because if we do not do that and the municipality does not stop further sprawl, we will have a big challenge in terms of even decanting. So I think that we wish to suggest to the committee that the timeframes we have proffered here, unlike the Mawiga situation where we were actually at the back foot, this one, because we started almost from scratch, it has allowed us to do the planning process properly. And we can understand the impatience of the councillor, but we are also realistic about the capacities that exist, including the availability of budget. We must also not be blindsided to the fact that in this case, the councillor was proactive enough to petition to the Portfolio Committee. The reality is that in the Western Cape, there remains other informal settlements that are older than this one. And that in terms of the prioritization and housing delivery progress, they were supposed to be much ahead of this settlement. But as you can see, in response to the mandate of the Portfolio Committee, we've had to also consider and cut the available cake with what is available. We may not be able to do everything all at the same time, but for the Mandela Square process, we have said we will start with 150 houses, begin to ramp them up, and as you may have heard, we then go to 200 and so on, and we keep on growing that scope of delivery within the available kitty that is there before us. Thanks, Chairperson.
Thanks very much. Maybe let's agree that, I see hands now. Councillor?
Thank you very much, Chair. I just want to clarify that there are two families on the one plot. That is not correct, Chair. what I can ask to the committee, on the 30th of November, on the 1st of December, the committee came to Zwelethemba, New Mandela Square. We showed them there is no such thing that there are two families in one plot. We showed the committee, and the chair was also present on that meeting. Then we showed them this is the area that we're supposed to build the housing, but every person is staying with a single person. Then if you will see a two housing in one plot, then that the second one will be a house of a child of that person. But as I said, Chair, earlier before, we had a meeting with the community. The community agree on the one thing, that we agree we will move from the plot if you want to build the housing. And I did make example with the construction that built the houses in Mandela Square. That contractor was Jubilee Construction. We can go and get the information to that construction, how they did. Because the time the Jubilee Construction built the houses, there were also people that are living to those plots. Then there were no single person that relocated to somewhere. They just removed that person to a corner of the plot and built the house. The process went well. There was no disturbance and everything. So, Chair, can we take this matter as serious as it? Let's put aside if the petitioner is a council, because the reason I put this petitioner is because of I saw the situation of the people, and I raised this so many times. I became a councillor in 2016, Chair. By the way, I was a ward committee in 2009 under Councillor Kika. Then 2011, I was a ward committee also under former councillor Nosikola Kechal. Then I became a councillor in 2016. So I know the backgrounds of this project, all of those projects, even the project of Mandela Square, electrify the area. It stopped on 2009 up until now. So I know the background of those projects. Thank you, Chair.
All right. I think that assists to say, DG Chief Director, if you can fully involve the councillor to assist the process, especially the process of decanting, so that we're able to move forward. I think from our side, if we can say, let's have a report. When we have a report on the other petition in February, let's also have a progress report on this one. Will that be fine, DG? Chief Director? Okay.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt the DG, but from the Western Cape side, Chairperson, we will ensure that there's a progress update provided. Thank you.
All right. Sakina, Honorable Frenchman.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson and committee members, I am not satisfied with the Chief Director's response on power construction making decisions, but as the councillor indicated that there is no two families staying on one plot. The Western Cape needs to start capturing the data correctly, because we get instances where it said that 300 houses will be built in a certain area, and then suddenly it's not. I do have a list here of projects with me that I will be sharing with the committee in this week of projects in the Western Cape. And then, Chairperson, there are some question marks against power construction. I would like the construction company to also submit a report on what's really happening there, because they can't make decisions on behalf of officials. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. I think it's recorded. The Chief Director, DG Councillor, have recorded that. Honorable Detail.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Very briefly, Chairperson, I think the city, it being a metro, more often than not prides itself on being among those very well-governed parts of our country. And of course, one should commend the city where it does do well. And I think it is also commendable that they are collaborating with the department and a state consultancy, the HDA, to carry this out. And I think as per the testimony of the DG, there was nothing happening until, of course, they came through. But what seems to me to be lacking, Chair, is, in my view, more of a philosophy that connects with all the technical, technocratic, technological know-how. And this philosophy, I think, emanates from what some of us who yearn for human dignity, social justice, fundamental human rights of all, including people that may be looked down upon by others in the city as if they do not have the right to the city. I raised this when we were in eThekwini, when we met with Abahlali, who expressed grave misgivings about the way they were treated, in particular in other parts of KwaZulu-Natal. And let us just remember once again that as the various parts of the world gather in Egypt this coming week, they'll be looking at local actions for sustainable cities and communities. And the concept of the right to the city, as advocated by Henry Lefebvre and David Halley, advocates for the right of all people to access, use, and enjoy cities in a way that is inclusive, safe, and sustainable. And indeed, the city must be changed and shaped in the whole process of the sprawl of suburbia. So I'd like to suggest, Chairperson, adding to what you have said in terms of practicalities, what it is that the city must do, working with the department and its entity, the HTA, that it is important to embrace fully what our constitution says. And I think if you listen to the account of the councillor who says, I've been a member of the ward committee since 2011, going 2016, and I'm now a councillor, he clearly has a very profound appreciation of the neighborhood. He speaks authoritatively. Now, to think that there could be a disjuncture between the account of the councillor of what is happening in that particular part of the city and the city officials is just mind-boggling. So mine really is an appeal. And I know that as South Africans, depending on our different world outlooks, philosophies, beliefs, ethos, whatever, sometimes we struggle with pressures that are brought upon us by such development as these, where there are people that live sometimes on the periphery, on the edges of the city, etc. And some of them we may look down upon them as contributing to inner city decay and all of that. but it is important that we act once again in the spirit of our constitution and in the context of intergovernmental relations framework. And we've referred to the district development model, one plans. It is doable, Chairperson. There are other parts of the world where cities are confronted perhaps with challenges much more serious, much more complex than what the city of Cape Town is faced with. For me, it seems to me that it's more of an attitude issue and lack of appreciation of cultural diversity. If somebody tells you, if you see a second shack in one a plot, for example, it doesn't mean there's a second family there. It may be an issue about what one person sees as a nuclear family, which should have only one shack, as opposed to the appreciation on the part of those that live on that one plot, which of course admittedly still has to be developed as an extended family. Appreciation of an extended, a concept of an extended family. Yet again, Chairperson, access to the city, use and enjoyment of the city in a way that is inclusive, in a way that is safe, in a way that is sustainable. That would be my intervention, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Poole.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the presentation and then also for the councillors' input. Chair, as I see the presentation, I observe 7 elements of what you have to prepare to come up with such a development. 1, first you have to identify suitable land, relocation planning and budgeting, community engagement and consultation, decanting relocation of affected residents, demolition of existing structures if necessary, construction of new houses, allocation of new houses to relocate residents. 7 elements all within the presentation we just see. And that is proper planning. And yes, Chair, they're not saying that the councillor is not speaking the truth. I think what the councillor is seeking is that we as a committee, the province, Western Province, the municipality, have to come up with a mechanism whereby all councillors be informed of what's happening. And yes, a councillor is as much responsible and have a duty or responsibility if such a development is happening in his area, and he have to help the municipal or a local level to motivate, persuade people within that area to relocate to a secondary or a temporary plot just to give a chance to erect a house and being moved back again into a house. And that is all I want to say, Chair, but a perfect, proper plan from the municipality, Western Cape as well. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Poole. Honorable Frenchman, you want to say something?
Yes, thank you so much, Chairperson. In one of our previous meetings, I asked whether we can have, as a committee, have access to the housing database. I think this is going to be very important for us as a committee to keep track on the officials as we are hearing of, alleged a fraud going on. We need access to that, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think honorable members have made inputs. The DG has acknowledged to include those inputs in their planning. I think what is important is to take the councillor on board on every step. We agree that the councillor must also assist if there is a development in situ. The councillor has committed that he will be able to assist because he's a councillor there. I think let's work together. Let's get a report in 3 months on the progress. From the committee side, I know that the previous committee went there for an oversight, but because we have new members in this committee, we may have to get time just to visit there and see the area. I think the secretariat will work on that and will inform all stakeholders, the department, national, provincial, and the municipality, and the ward councillor in particular. Can we close it at that? I think it's fine. We've given
Yes,
a
Chair.
way. All right, we are agreeing on a way forward. And so I think we're done with the petitions. I can release all other people, only members of the committee and the parliamentary staff can remain. We'll deal with minutes, and I'll also just parachute another item. Other invitees can leave, and we can remain with members of the committee and the staff. The next
Thank you
item.
very much. Chair.
Thank you very much. Secretary, can you flight the minutes quickly?
Thank you, Chairperson. I'm actually not sure because I didn't receive a set of minutes from my colleague, unless I may have missed it. But I'm not sure when the last meeting was and whether that minutes has been distributed to members of the Portfolio Committee.
Okay. Let me check from other colleagues. Selina, Casey, you don't have the set of minutes?
Aye, Chair. Let me check on my side. I think I do have.
Can you fly to that? Do you have Selina?
I'm still checking, Chair. I'm still checking on my email.
Okay. Maybe as she's still checking, honorable members, can I just parachute the issue of Cairo? Because I see members are raising concerns. Members, we have made an application, as you all know, to the House Chair, which the application which was supposed to go to the Chief Whip of the largest party and ultimately to the Speaker. To cut the long story short, the approval came and the approval said there's not enough budget. Not every member of the committee will go. They only allow the chairperson of the committee and one other member of the committee and one support staff to go there, which means it's 3 people. Now from the committee it will be 2, the chairperson and 1 other member. Now the practice is you start looking at the parties. The biggest party, which is the ANC, followed by DA, followed by MK, followed by EFF, IFP, and so on. Obviously, if you have to choose 1 member from 11, it will be difficult. Then as a chairperson, I use that criteria that has been used all along in Parliament. I then said, then we'll give it to the ANC as the largest party. And then I gave it to the leader of the ANC to deploy. If it was supposed to be chairperson plus 2, I would have given to the ANC, and the second largest party would be DA. If it was chairperson plus 3, ANC, DA, and MK. 4, ANC, DA, MK, EFF, and so on and so on. In terms of the strength of parties, that's the criteria that was used, and that is the criteria that is generally used in Parliament if all members are unable to go. So I just wanted to clarify that, honorable members, so that we shouldn't think there's something. Maybe it was wrong for Honorable Ditebe to raise it before I report, but I don't think there's an issue there. That's my report. Honorable Ditebe, is that an old or a new hand?
Sorry, Chair, it's I apologize.
Honorable Gamede?
Yes, Chair. No. You see, Chair, like I was saying, I think you see, I think you have seen in my comments even on our group. There is something called respect at all times. We must try by all means to respect one another. In order for us to be heard, even wherever we go, so that wherever we go, the reason why maybe some other things that are not being implemented by provinces and all other leaders at a lower level, it's because we don't respect each other enough. What is happening right now, it would have been better because we're all told in one meeting that we are going there. But we heard in corners that no, it's only 2 that has been approved. Okay, we understood. But what has happened, I anticipated what is happening right now. I anticipated that it's not going to be myself or any other from anybody from other organization. If they said it too, who is going to go with you that side? So now I happen to know that at some point, Comrade Tebe has made mentions even to us to say that we know that with regards to your cluster in your own organization is a whipper. Now, that thing must not be brought to us. We don't care who is your whipper in your own organization. So at times, Honorable Tebe will always behave as if he's bigger than us. We are equal here, we're all members. The person whom we elected is you, who is our chairperson. And there's no deputy chairperson here. So this thing is happening. He should give us respect the same way that we give him respect. Respect is a two-way thing. Not the way he does things. We don't appreciate. If Honorable Chair, because right now we understand you have put it nicely, we respect you because you always afford us respect. If you were the one who approached us and said, no, look, comrades, according to the House Chair, this is the recommendation now that we're no longer going there, all of us. It's only 2. Now I've decided to do 1, 2, 3. We would have understood. Even in this meeting, there was no need for Honorable Tebe to bring this thing along. He could have made mention of saying, since we are also going to the department, in fact, the portfolio committee is going to Cairo. No one would have even brought this matter to this committee meeting. So now it's like he's boosting or he's trying by all means at all times is pressing us in corners. It is not right. He mustn't. And you must try, as our chairperson, as a leader, you must try and reprimand him from doing such, because things will turn ugly and one will find himself in the darkest corner dancing without instrumental music. I submit, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Ga-Rankuwa.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the explanation. Well understood, but I only have one question. It's a criteria that is supposed to be followed, and there is nothing that can be done about that. But my question is it always going to be like that? Because looking at the financial situation of our government, there is no way that more than 2 will go. So my question is it always going to be like that? But I appreciate the explanation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mpiti.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Please do excuse the noise. I'm close to the marquee. Yeah, Chair, I just wanted to come in on this point and obviously thank you for the explanation and letting us know what the logistics are going to be and who is attending and who is not. I just wanted to say, Chair, I think the manner in which Honorable Ditebe did address the issue in the meeting was not fair to committee members. I think at least we must be afforded to hear from the chairperson that is being elected to deliver that information, because again, like Honorable Ditebe has said, Honorable Gamade has said, many of us were still aware that the entire committee is going. It's actually my first time hearing that we are not going anymore. I've only become aware of it now, but nonetheless, yeah, just to have that clarity. And I think collegiality is very important because we are a new committee, and it's important that we try our best to always keep the collegiality in the committee going as far as possible, noting the fact that we are from different political parties with different mandates on the committee, but collegiality does not mean it must be lost on the basis that we are from different political parties. So just to agree on that and to say that I think next time we must be mindful of other committee members who also sit on the portfolio committee, who by all means have a rightful standing as any other member. I think the only person we've elected is the chairperson who is there to chair the committee, but we are all equal members in this committee. No one is above anyone else. And I think that is something, Chair, that you really must make a point of in the committee. Thank you.
Thanks very much, honorable members, for your understanding. I think I'll also talk to all honorable members on any issue. I'm happy that you brought it. You didn't discuss it in corners. You brought it directly to the meeting. I think we're fine. Are the minutes ready? Our secretary is on study leave. She might have missed to send the standing secretary minutes. I was just checking with Selina. If you have, let's have them.
No, I don't have, and I tried to send her the message, and then she said to me, no, she didn't send it.
Okay. Honorable members, can we agree that we'll deal with that set of minutes in the next meeting?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Agreed, Chairperson. Chairperson, my hand was up. If we can get the minutes on time so that we go through them.
Yes.
But if you're going to receive them a day before the meeting, it doesn't assist us because there are so many things that we need to follow. Thank you, Chair.
In fact, my principle is immediately after the meeting, 2 days thereafter, we must receive minutes. While things we discussed are still fresh in our mind. But the secretary is on study leave, and I agree with Honorable Ga-Rankuwa that we must receive them well in advance. Thanks very much, honorable members, for your time. It's 12:30. I think you'll be able to catch the buses to Parliament. Thanks very much. The meeting is then adjourned.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chair.
Hi, Kumsa. Are you in the village? Is the bus out already? Can you tell them to wait for me? I've just finished my meeting, sorry. I'm coming. All right, I'm coming. Thank you very much.